What is up, guys? So today I'm going to be making a Teck skateboard rack. So I'm going to be making it to where I can hold probably around 5 or 6 skateboards on it. I'm going to be using this piece of wood. I just found it out in my dad's trash pile. He does a lot of woodworking and decided that I could make something cool out of this. So we're going to go cut this up, see if we can't make a little just holder for these Teck decks, so where I can just stack them all and they can be in a nice little row. Let's try this out. So looking at this board right now, there's a couple spots like right here where the wood's chipped. The major spot we want to look at is these corners, because this is the side that we would want to use. And so I'm just going to want to make a cut right there, try to make a line down this to where this is just cut off to where we don't have any more of these cracks. We want this piece right here. Let's do this and cut this off. As you can see, we just finished cutting off this piece. It would have just splintered and ruined our whole deck display that we're trying to make. And yeah, it just would have just ruined this. So we have this good piece right here to work with, which I'm going to try to fix. I think I might just cut this right here to make 2 even spots, and then we need a backer for the big deck display. So let's get cutting. We're going to measure another cut right here, and we'll get that cut. This piece cut right here, this is going to be one of the sides. I may have to trim it down because it looks a little long. But the next part in this is to just layer this up right next to the board we already had. And what we're going to want to do is just make an exact line so we can try to make a replica of this, because there's going to be 2 sides. And this is where we're going to make little slits for the skateboards to rest in. So let's go do one more little exact copy of this piece. Our 2 exact replicas are done right here. So the next thing is you want to figure out how far you want your skateboard to be. So you're going to line both these boards up because they're going to be like the walls almost, as you could say. And so now you just want to see how far apart your wheels are on your skateboard to measure how far away you want these 2 pieces to be. Whatever that length is, then you want to go back to your original board and then make that. So let's say it's 3 inches long, your board is. Then you want to just make that, because this piece is now going to be the back to these 2, which is going to connect them and make them sturdy. So just measure that. What I normally would like to do is just say if it's 3 inches, you measure to there, put a little dash, go up to the top of the board, measure another 3, put a dash, and then sometimes just find a midpoint in the center, so then you can take your measuring stick and measure a correct line all the way through. That's how normally you measure it in geometry. So we're going to try this out, make a backer for these 2 boards. So now the backer of these 2 boards right here is complete. So what you want to do is you just want to take these 2, you're going to want to put these on this back piece, and this is what's going to hold both these boards together. But before we can get that done, you want to see how many skateboards you actually want to put on your little skateboard holder. So what I'm thinking is that you want to just measure, I would say maybe 6 on this one that I've made. So once you put it there, you just want to make a line on the front and the back of the skateboard showing where you want to make the cuts. And then when you do this, it might be easier if you layer both these 2 boards on top of each other and cut it so that it's a precise cut. Let's get to it. So I ended up putting these little dashes right here to symbolize where I'm going to put this Teck deck. This right here, I already cut one out, and so what I did is I actually put this little clamp right here to hold both my wood together. And then I just cut this out, I rounded it right there, and it seems to work pretty good. I'm going to cut these 2 out, and then it's time to put this back piece on the 2. These pieces are finished. They are identical. What I ended up doing is I cut off a couple inches of the top because it was just way too long. I made it for 5 long boards, and it just looked good. So right here, I also made this U in case I wanted to put some right there laying long ways. But I think this looks awesome, so what I need to do is just take this back piece and put it on. But before I do that, I want to use my sander here and just sand this down so that these are smooth and that all these little splinter pieces you see just come off. Let's go do that. so just sanded that down. As you can see, they're pretty smooth. I was able to get those. They look really unique. They look the same. See these two? They're almost identical in shape. This backer right here, I was able to get it really smooth. The edges are rounded. So next thing I want to do is I want to get this piece and then screw these in right there in place. Let's do that. So since my piece is real small and thin, I brought the little piece over so I can screw in this backard. So all I need to do is just hold it there and screw it in. It's pretty nice. I just undo this and then I can easily take out my piece, but for now I'm just gonna stick it right there so I can screw it in. Alright guys, so I actually decided to, instead of using that other small backer on the back, I decided to use this thicker board. It still looks really nice. It gives it a bit more weight, but also I can use nails to go through it. So in this case, I use these big staples. I use my staple gun, which you'll see in a minute, stapled this on, and it worked really good. So all I need to do is I'm going to sand it one more time with this sander instead of my big belt sander, and then I'm just going to, all we need to do next is just paint it, and we'll have a nice skateboard rack. So the final stage is just to spray paint it. I'm going to be using some black paint, and I think this will look pretty good. The next thing I'm going to do is just to get some decals. Sometimes these skateboards actually come with decals, so I'm just going to use some of those decals it comes with. Just put some stickers on it, and I think it'll look good. Alright guys, so the product is finished. I just put my skateboards in it. Man, this thing looks cool. So the crescent right here, I was able to set my board in kind of like a display case. So whichever one you like the most, you just put up there. Then I was able to put all my other decks. So this really holds 6 decks. So I was able to put it there. Also, I made a little tiny lightning bolt on this side, and on the other side of this deck case, I put one right there. So if you want, you're easy to just dump these out. Some of them actually stay in pretty good. But I just dumped them out just to show you that this whole thing got painted. I think it looks really nice. I'm going to put it next to my computer. But it's a nice way to display and hold your Teck decks. I've just gotten into these Teck decks, and I just didn't have a case or anything for them. Decided to make this, and it holds them really well. All these Teck decks fit in real nice, and they do not slide out easy, which is nice. I mean, it's easy to take them out, but it's not like they'll fall out. I really like this model and hope to build more. Thanks guys for watching. Subscribe, and I'll have more Teck deck videos coming up soon.